Are tech layoffs still a thing? It's everywhere that tech hiring has slowed since the downturn began. Especially in big tech, where it seems like every day we're used to hearing another X000 jobs are being lost. Do people think it will pick up again soon, or is the goal of working at a tech company just going to be harder now? If you want to change jobs, should we be waiting it out for a while? Asking for a friend. Edit 1. Yes. Yes, Microsoft just laid off hundreds of people this week. So yes, they are still a thing. Anecdotally, I've been getting more calls for senior positions lately. In my opinion, the mid-level companies are reluctant to hire but are being forced to. Interest rates still seem to be rising with the intent of slowing the job market. I would imagine the market will remain rocky for a while, however, no one has a crystal ball. And no one can tell you if you have a good job right now that feels secure. I personally would sit pretty, however, I have been overly cautious in the past and that has probably cost me TC in the long run. Tech layoffs concern me less than the number of companies doing return to office. I plan on moving soon. I reached out to colleagues recently and learned that 2 different companies I knew were fully remote are doing RTO 2-3 days in office later this year. Got laid off this morning. 7 yo. Yes. As someone said, the market is saturated with entry and mid-level experience looking for work. One of my former coworkers did some heavy work with security. And even he is finding trouble looking for a solutions architect role. Microsoft recently announced even more layoffs. It seems it's slowed down but hasn't stopped. It's ongoing. At least in my company they say it's just getting started. You should just check on your state's layoff website. I'm still seeing only tech companies laying people off. I had an Amazon recruiter message me yesterday after months of no messages. I think layoffs are over. Tech market is coming back. Demand for senior roles didn't seem to change much. But there was a noticeable surge in XAWS Meta Google people available. Entry and junior sounds really rough. But I don't imagine it has typically been easy. My current employer just did a 10 RIF the other day. I'm safe. But yeah, still very much a thing. I'm at this place because the last place I was at laid off half of engineering back in February. Just been laid off 2 weeks ago. For our org. Yeah. My team didn't get affected, but some of the other teams, at least in the software division of the tech org, got hit. Senior positions are picking up steam again. I originally thought we'd be back to mostly normal in 6 months or so. I'm a little more pessimistic and thinking that might be closer to 12 months. These trends can be best predicted by looking at the macroeconomy and the cost of capital. If interest rates are high, hiring will be low, cooling the economy. When interest rates start to go down, hiring will start to pick up. That's the driver of these macro trends. It is. My company laid off a bunch of people 2 weeks ago. We had a restructuring this week. Some folks were let go. They wouldn't give us the numbers. No one on my teams were affected, and at this point that makes 11 layoff events in my career, and I'm getting pretty fucking numb about it. Amazon is laying people off today as well. Changing job doesn't increase the risk of layoff, since you may target companies that are more solid than your current one. It depends on where you are right now. Generally speaking, layoffs are cooling down, but you won't see the crazy job market of 2021, 2022 anytime soon. If ever. It will be a new market. Those who have experience, even a year or two's worth, can get some good jobs in what they have experience in. Meanwhile, those who don't have experience at all or in a specific field probably won't be considered. So bad time to pivot from, say, embedded to back-end, but a good time to go from embedded to senior embedded. Software company I work for, owned by private equity. Not publicly traded, laid off about 50 people yesterday. Equal to about 8 of the headcount. Microsoft just had layoffs on Monday. They laid off another 700 people. I think it already picked up. Smiling face, I'm getting recruiter spams again. Grin, there was this big void from December to June. Indirect firings are on a rise. Basically, you create such a situation for the employee that they are forced to resign. Wouldn't be surprised if I got laid off tomorrow. Been getting requests all day from people to document various things that I do. People asking me how I do portions of my job, etc. Oh well. It's over. I dropped out of CS to focus on becoming a fry cook. I got laid off recently because the startup I was working for lost VC funding. Tech consulting is very slow right now. Nobody is hiring. I got laid off just last week, lol. I've heard less of straight up layoffs and more of soft layoffs. I don't even have a job yet, graduated in May. Been grinding applications every day upside down face, but my friends who work elsewhere in the US have all told me their companies are going fully in person to make people quit, so it looks better. Have a friend who works about 20 minutes away from his office. Usually gets 3 days a week at home. Next month that number will be 0. Multiple people who live 1 hour away have told the company they won't be able to do that, and they've basically said sucks to suck, buddy. If you're willing to work in an office, then there is almost no issue with hiring right now. My company is still hiring and we aren't getting 400 resumes per opening. We are fully in the office though. When the economy slows, management can be more choosy. First they stop WFH hiring. Then they say come back to the office or you're fired. There are 300 people would gladly take your jobs, so why accommodate your desire to stay in your bedroom all day? If you want to find a job, be willing to fully go into an office MF and you'll cut all the WFH competition out of the application pool. All industries evolve. If you look at it historically, for those of us with decades under our belt, you see the same thing happening over and over again, boom-bust cycles. For those of us in CS and any other job type for that matter, it's always about trying to hit the next wave that's coming in while trying not to stay too long on the past wave that's dying out. So yes, tech layoffs will be a thing, and it's incumbent on us to find the next thing. This is just the beginning. Your friend should absolutely hold off on quitting their current job, but can learn what they need to know to get a job in this market now without waiting. It took me over a year of self-studying and then a coding bootcamp to be employable as a software engineer. Even if they have a CS degree, you have to study for interviews to pass the interview and land a job. All of that takes hard work and dedication, which takes time. Please don't wait to start studying just because of the layoffs. You're going to get nothing but anecdote from a biased sample here. I'd sooner seek answers from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Tech layoffs are literally always happening. Hey Siri, what is an economic cycle?